Okay, John, the outside, of course, is its own beast, but when you come inside, the last time we were here, it was really something. And as we just showed you, you just saw the before, a little snippet again, it's really a very different story now that it's cleaned out, right?
Yeah, it is. I mean, the home is a solid house, but it was so filled with stuff, it was hard to see what was here.
Yeah.
Certainly there is a ton of work to do here to get this thing back to life. And we're actually looking at a couple of different exit strategies on this particular one. We're looking at potentially selling it as it is and letting somebody else come in and do all the work. We currently have it listed for sale. And then while we're doing that, we're going through the design process. So we're gonna do a little video here on what we think we might do if we end up keeping it as our own. And we've got about 2 or 3 weeks of this process before we decide if we're gonna make it. In fact, an offer came in today, so who knows what'll happen. But let's talk a little bit about what the plan is.
Yeah, so when you come into the house, it's a very different house as we showed you before. When you're looking from the street, it was built specifically from the original owner as a home and then a photography studio and a carport. So that's how it was originally built. So that was a little bit of a conundrum. What do we do with that photography studio, which we'll show you, which we showed you before, it was all completely collapsed in. But when you come into the house part, you come into the living room, which is a nice big space. You know, we have that hardwood flooring, which we always try to save it if we can, right?
Yeah.
A lot of tack stripping, so we'll see what we can do. We're probably gonna have to just run an engineered wood over top of it because it's a little less, cost effective to do it this way.
Yeah, and likely just to be able to get the hardwood floor to be similar throughout the home, it's going to be a lot easier to do an engineered hardwood throughout than try to match this floor, throughout the rest of the
house. And it's sloping a little bit.
Yeah, you got a little bit of sloping here.
Figure out what to do with this.
And so we will likely, be doing an engineered hardwood floor.
Right, so let's head this way, which was an office area. Yeah, so this was the office area for the original owner. Actually, it's a pretty neat area, especially when you have people working from home today. So what do you think? Should we keep it like this,
I think it's possible that that this space is best suited as an office space.
Yeah, we could put new cabinets in to make it more, livable in today's world, but it really should probably stay a home office.
Yeah, and I think we'll minimize the amount of cabinets that are in here. Right now there are quite a few and it really shrinks the space up. So yeah. I would bet that we'll, only put a few cabinets in here and just make it a little bit more of a place for some storage for the office, and then they can do their own thing with the rest of the space.
Yeah, and I think, since it's a mid-century home, I always love when we have an opportunity to do something in a mid-century style, to probably keep it in that style, right?
Yeah,
I think that would be a fun thing to do. So it lends itself already in that feel when you have that architecture, which is a really neat design aesthetic to pull to.
Yeah, and you can see there's been some water damage on the walls here. I think most of that is old stuff that has been fixed. So there's going to be some investigating to make sure that everything's nice and tidy as we start the remodel.
Okay, and now this way takes you into the kitchen area, so it's a pretty big space too.
Yeah, it's a great spot.
Right, coming down the hall, I love these louvered walls. I mean, again, it's just so 50s in here. And everything is original. It's like actual time capsule here. I mean, from light fixtures and everything down.
Yeah, and they have replaced a few of them, but yeah, it's great. That light fixture is amazing.
Absolutely.
Nice big full bathroom right here that we'll have to do a full remodel on. The kitchen obviously is going to be a full remodel. One of these things that is always a bit of a challenge is this has soffit in the kitchen that would have to be removed if we were to decide to, really replace the cabinets. So we're gonna have a little bit of a trick on what we're gonna wanna do there because you never know what's in those soffits. A lot of times when they're building these old houses, they're either just like running the wires through there because they know it's gonna be there, or maybe there's a plumbing something or an HVAC something in there, something in there. So it's always tricky, and ultimately what I would prefer to do is not replace the soffit. Or remove the soffit rather. We likely would do something with this soffit that's over the island here or peninsula, but the rest of it we likely would try to keep and then put the cabinets in there so they fit correctly.
Yeah, and it's amazing what you can do when you take out these old cabinets. You always hate to take out anything that's good, but when they're this old and they're just this dilapidated, you really don't have any choice. Nobody wants old and gross cabinets. But when you come in and you take this out and you put fresh new, it really brings such a whole new life into a space, and you can bring in the pretty and bring in the fun design aesthetics, like we said, and those little touches of that mid-century feel, and it really brings it all back to life. So when I come into something like this, I don't see anything bad, I see all fantastic. And then when you open it up and you take this down, you bring in that, that sight line there, and then you have a large family space with a great fireplace as well, too, right?
Yeah, this is a really big house. So you have a really nice living space here that is also part of the kitchen, and then you have another living space over in front of the house, and then you have an office in between. So you have some great compartmentalized space, and you have some great open space, which is a pretty nice thing in an older home like this. And I wouldn't be surprised when we do this if we were to remove this, and there may be a pole here that's supportive, but to just open this whole space. I do like the louvers, so maybe we'll keep that too.
I do like these. I really think this should be something we keep, just as a nod to that mid-century feel. And having this little separation from the bathroom, I think it's a good thing to keep.
Sure.
Just so you have that. Again, I don't like having a bathroom really open, but this would be a nice little piece to keep here. And then it does still keep it nice and big, just because it's a big space, and you've got a natural dining space right here as well.
Sure.
Right?
And again, this would all be engineered hardwood floors, so that when we're remodeling houses, typically we want to keep a singular floor throughout most of the living area. It just makes things feel more open and fluid, and really brings it into a modern feel. Back in the day, they used to cut up the floors quite a bit, and so you can even see just this little spot in the kitchen. Then it was different here. Then it was different in the other living room over there.
Everything,
and so it's all cut up in that way. And what we want to do is kind of bring that all together, so it just feels more fluid, and the flow of the house is just better that way.
Yeah, exactly. All right, and take a look at this fireplace.
Yeah, the fireplace is fantastic, and actually it really is got the mid-century modern appeal with the longer, narrower brick. It really gives that nice linear long feel. It's in great shape. I don't know exactly what we're going to find when we remove this cellophane here.
Who knows what we're going to see when we get that, but we'll find it. We'll figure it out. But this is really nice too, right?
Yeah, really neat.
I mean, we might could change this out just to sort of modernize it, but removing this or doing anything with this, I don't think we should do.
The brick is fantastic. It's so old, it's new again.
That's exactly right. But this would really, if we could take maybe like a little thicker beam and bring that into today, that would do that juxtaposition.
Sure.
That would make it just right. So, all right, again, but heading upstairs, a little bit of a different story. We got a bit of a mess up there.
Yeah, let's go ahead and check it out.
Do you think we should go to the photography studio first?
We'll come back and we'll get that at the very end.
Okay, that's the big surprise. We'll go upstairs first.
All right. So here we are on the second story, and we're in the hallway, and you can see this is a rather large hallway for this age of home, and it's got two really nice closets here, one that's wrapped in cedar. The hall itself is pretty large, and we just have a very nice space here, and I think you have, 4 bedrooms up here, and another bathroom, or sorry, 2 bathrooms. And one of the features that this house has that you just didn't see at this age is it's got second floor laundry up here.
I know, what?
So that is such an added bonus for a property like this. And really going to be something for that new owner that they'll really appreciate.
These railings obviously are original, and when I was talking to the construction crew, we were going back and forth about what to do with these, and I think we should keep them and paint them.
I agree.
Right?
100%
Why
black.
would we take them out? Just paint them a nice black, a good coating. They're just perfect.
Yeah, they're solid.
They're so solid, right?
These are, to replace these as they are would be very expensive.
I know, and they're
so
perfect
they're
for the design.
Yeah, it sits really well.
And then the first bedroom that we're going into is actually really large. So yeah, this is a pretty good sized room, right? A little bit of a sloped ceiling, which I always like. It just makes it feel bigger, right?
Sure.
Of course, this 50s wagon wheel. People probably go ahead and take that down.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this would be the primary because it's connected to this, and again, for a 50s home, to have a connected closet, a laundry, and an ensuite bath. That's just not a normal thing.
Yeah, it's very, very much ahead of its time. And obviously somebody had some good foresight here and had a little bit extra dough when they were building this house. It wasn't a standard build. So really just a neat property.
Yeah, let's go take a look at this. I think this is really special in here. So look, you come through and you have, this is like we live today, right? Not in the 50s. You got a full-size closet, you have, built-in shelving. Again, you've got washer and dryer with storage and even a hanging rod, which is my favorite thing in a laundry room. And you come into an ensuite bath, which we just did not see in this
and
time.
you've got double vanities here.
Yeah.
We'll have a new tub, new toilet, just an overhaul on this entire bathroom. Just a beautiful little space, and certainly doesn't look like that now, but will turn into one.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, let's check the rest of the upstairs.
Okay. And then there are 2 more bedrooms to the front of the house, side by side, still with the original flooring and original ceiling and lighting, which of course we'll take care of with the remodel. All right, so we're in the former studio, which we're going to basically turn into a flex space now because it's a disaster, but we're going to make it really nice.
Yeah, and you can see the natural skylight we've got in the back here. We have a roof that's caved in, and we're going to have to get that all fixed. So by the time we get this thing done, it'll be a workable, beautiful space again.
Absolutely. So stay tuned. We're going to see what to do with this. Of course, always like and subscribe our channel. We have tons of projects coming up and always projects to look at those before and after. So till next time, we'll see you right here.